Welcome back to the Untouchaballs podcast. Caden and Leo here. Caden, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. We got a very exciting weekend coming up.
Most definitely, Caden. There are so many good football games and ranked games to talk about. And not only that, of course, our teams as well as NFL. So let's hop straight into it. Give us the first matchup.
Yeah, the first game, because in our college slate here, we got 6 games. 5 of the 6 are ranked on ranked matchups.
Yes.
Starting off, we have number 24, good old Navy midshipman, playing the number 12 ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish, where Notre Dame is a 13.5-point favorite.
Caden, Notre Dame should mop the floor with Navy. That being said, I'm going with Navy as my underdog pick of the week. I just feel they're going to come in with that underdog mindset. They're going to run the football, and they're going to punch the Irish in the face unexpectedly. And I think the Irish are going to be so overwhelmed by the running game that Navy's going to show up with that they're going to end up losing a very close, low-scoring ball.
You think they're going to lose the game?
Yes.
You think Navy's coming out with the victory?
I just said that. Navy's going to upset.
Wow. Okay, hey. I'm also on Navy. Not to win by any means.
Spread.
I like them to cover the 13.5. I think it's a little too big.
Yes, we're both right.
Navy is averaging 277 rushing yards a game, which is 3rd in the country.
Yes.
If Notre Dame, they're going to have to find a way to stop that, even if they stack the ball.
They're not going to find a way.
Yeah, if Notre Dame wants a chance to cover, they're going to have to be able to stop the run, be able to force them to throw, where they're averaging only 160 passing yards a game on 13.5 attempts. So it's an armed forces school. They're running the ball basically every play. And I think if they're able to run the ball, wear down Notre Dame, they should be able to get keep it close. It's at MetLife. Be able to keep it close and be able to stay within that 2-touchdown little spread there and be able to get the cover by Duke. I don't think they're going to win, but I like them to cover.
Obviously, it's a long shot, Caden, and Notre Dame could very well come out and just stop the run, and then Navy can do nothing the rest of the game.
Another thing, though, is I'm not really that big on Riley Leonard. I know Navy's not great defensively by any means, but I still don't think Riley Leonard is by any means that good of a quarterback. I mean, I think really he's just been carried by having, the full team of Notre Dame around him. So I think you're going to, as long as you slow him down a little bit, you're going to be good. I think they should be able to cover this game.
I like it, kid.
Next game we got 1 against 20. We got Illinois fighting Illinois going into Eugene, face the Oregon Ducks, where the Ducks are 22-point favorites.
Yeah, I think 22 is a lot of points, but given that high-powered Oregon offense and what they've been able to do this year, also remaining undefeated, and even upsetting Ohio State, that's fair. But we've been big fans of Illinois this season, and they've been able to show up and show out when they need to. I think 22.5 is a lot of points, Cade.
22 even.
22 even is a lot of points, Cade. Even if they lose by 3 touchdowns and 21, that would be a cover.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with Illinois to cover. I think they can score enough to keep it within that under 22-point range, but ultimately Oregon is just Oregon.
So yeah, I agree with what you said. I think 22 just seems a little high for what we've seen out of this Illinois team so far this year. They were able to beat Michigan. They were able to cover against Penn State. Like those are their biggest games so far. They were able to cover both of them easily. Stay within by a good bit both times.
There's a reason why this team's ranked, Cade.
Yeah, they're ranked 20. They're 6-1. Luke Altmaier's look good. They're able to run the ball well, and that defense has looked great all year, being able to limit. Penn State only scored 21 on them. Michigan only scored 7. And so I do think Oregon should be able to win pretty handily. It shouldn't be like a scare or anything for them. But yeah, like you said, they win by 3 touchdowns. It's only 21, and we still get our cover. So yeah, give me Illinois in this one to cover.
I like it.
Next game, another big matchup. We got number 5. No, not number 5. They used to be number 5. We got the Alabama Crimson Tide, number 11 now.
Number 11.
Going against number 24. No, 23. My bad. Number 23, Missouri Tigers, where Bama is a 17-point favorite at home.
Which is a high number. What are your thoughts here?
See, my thoughts here, because Brady Cook is listed as doubtful right now, the Missouri quarterback. So it's not really looking like as if he's going to go or not. They're already missing their top running back for the season, Noel. He's been their leading rusher and their workhorse in the backfield now. He's already been ruled out. And one of their starting receivers alongside Luther Burden's already been ruled out as well. They have a lot of injuries on offense. I know this Alabama team has looked bad, especially these last couple of weeks. But I do think, especially with all the injuries, especially if Brady Cook ends up getting ruled out for Missouri, think Bama should be able to handle business at home and cover this 17-point spread.
See, Caden, what worries me is the inconsistency with the Bama offense.
That is very true.
They are very liable, to explode in the passing game and blow Missouri out of the water, right? Especially at home with that crowd. Also, coming off back-to-back losses.
That is very true.
This is going to be a very...
Well, 2 out of 3.
Excuse me.
They had a little scare against South Carolina in the middle.
Yes. But, that is going to be in their conscience. That's going to be in the back of their mind. Even with the lesser opponent, is this Bama team mature enough mentally and coached properly enough to be able to rebound and shut out an opponent that they should beat, Caden? I don't know. That question is unanswered, and until I can see that question answered this weekend, regardless of the injuries, I'm going to think Missouri could keep it within 2 touchdowns.
So you're taking the Missouri with
I'm
those plus 17?
Missouri plus 17.
Okay, hey, I'm not against that. I do, especially though if Brady Cook ends up playing, makes it a lot harder for Bama to cover the spread.
Of course.
Either way, though, I'm still going to stick with them at the minus 17.
And it's smart and it's a safe move, kid. I can't knock that too much.
Next, though, big game in the SEC. We have number 5 ranked Texas coming off that bad loss to Georgia last week, going into Vanderbilt to face the Commodores, and Texas is an 18-point favorite.
Yeah, Vanderbilt, as solid as that they played this year, of course, with their big upset over Bama. I like Vanderbilt's story. I like Vanderbilt's team. They're not built to compete with this Texas team, Caden. They're just not. Like, the way Texas is built up kind of exploits a lot of the weaknesses that this Vanderbilt team has. And there's a reason why that line is set as what it is. I expect Texas to be pretty pissed off from their loss, and I think they're going to come and take it out against Vanderbilt.
See, I'm a little opposite here. I think Texas should be able to win this game pretty easily, but I do think 18 might be just a little bit too high.
Okay.
With having Pavia behind center with Vanderbilt, he only has 1 turnover on the entire season.
Yeah, he protects the football.
He protects the football extremely well. They're able to control the clock extremely well. And yes, Texas has a good defense, but if they're able to limit, if Pavia can get through the game without turning the ball over, maybe only just 1 pick, like say he throws 1 pick, I still think they should be able to put up a 14 to 17 points or something like that. And that, in my eyes, should be enough to cover against this Texas team.
Yes, Caden, it very well could end up being that way. Another pick we're actually differing on, so we're going to be excited to see how it plays out.
Hey, big game here, though, starting the night slate. We have number 8 LSU traveling to number 14 Texas A&M. Whereas of right now, Texas A&M is a 1-point favorite.
Yes, Caden. I'm actually kind of surprised that Texas A&M, although they are at home, are the 1-point favorite. But this game is going to be exciting. It's going to be electric. This is just good old-fashioned SEC football for Caden.
Yeah, I do think this should be probably, the highlight of the day for the college football landscape. It seems like this is going to be the best game.
Yeah.
Like A&M, after their opening weekend loss, hasn't lost since and have looked really good ever since. There's a reason they're ranked number 14. They thumped Missouri just a handful of weeks back when we thought completely wrong on that game.
Yep.
But, you look at LSU. They were able to beat LSU in overtime. Garrett Nussmeier has looked really good so far this year.
He's bounced back from that rough start.
Exactly. I think this should be an amazing game, but I do think LSU should be able to pull out the win in this game.
Caden, we're on the same page there, finally. I do think that even though they are the underdog, I like LSU's chances just with their playmakers and offense and the fact that they're consistently been in the big games over the past few years. And I think Texas A&M is still working their way back up into these conversations and developing as a program.
Yep, and I will say, even though, it's obviously not the greatest coach of college football, I do have more faith in Brian Kelly and calling a game, especially in these high-ranked matchups. Like you saw a couple weeks ago against Ole Miss. Like, if he can call a game like that and LSU can play like that, they should be able to get the victory here.
Exactly. Good point.
Now, though, our nightcap, another 8:15 game. Cincinnati Bearcats going into CU Folsom Field. Big 12 matchup here, where CU is a 6.5-point favorite.
Caden, this is a huge game for CU. I will be in attendance for this one. I'm excited. Blackout theme. Now, Colorado is going to need this win if they're going to stay in contention in a very competitive Big 12.
Hey, same for Cincinnati.
Yes, exactly. Both teams are going to be hungry. Both teams understand what's at stake for a win. But I think Colorado, with the weapons, with the momentum they have, the way that running game's clicking, is going to have just enough firepower to overwhelm Cincinnati. And with the Colorado defense at home, I think we'll limit their scoring.
Yes, I do agree with you on this, especially after seeing what they did in Arizona last week, only holding them to 7 points total for that Arizona offense. That's a great showing by that defense. That's what you want to see especially coming to this big, heavily contested matchup in the conference.
And Caden, those edge rushers are starving to
Yep.
get after the quarterback. They've been turned loose the past couple of weeks. The sacks and the pressure that front seven is generating is terrifying for opposing quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And also, because they were able to beat Arizona so handily, Travis Hunter didn't have to play as much,
No,
and
in
he
the
should
second
be
half.
basically fully rested, and their shoulder should be a lot more healed going into this week, which should help their offense and their defense both substantially.
Exactly, Kate. Not to mention the rotations within the offensive line.
Yep.
Additionally, players are going to be fresh. A fresh, healthy CU squad that's mentally prepared and focused to take on Cincinnati is exactly what Deion Sanders needs for CU to take the dub.
Yeah, I'm agree. I think, I know 6.5 might seem a little high for this big conference matchup, but I think especially with it being at Folsom Field, that big home environment is great for CU. I think they should be able to cover this 6.5 point spread and win by at least that 7. Next, though, now we're going into the NFL.
Yes, we are.
And on our morning slate, we got the Patriots facing the Jets for the second time this year. It is in New England, and the Jets are a 7-point favorite.
Caden, this game is kind of iffy to call.
Just not going to be that great of football in my eyes.
I'm not sure what to expect. Because as much as the Jets have gotten trashed on, and I think Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams are going to come out and try to put on a show, I just don't know if I trust them. I think they're going to win, but that 7's a big line, Caden. I think they're going to cover, but that is such a close line.
It's a little scary one for you.
It's a scary one.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on here. I think the Jets are going to cover, especially from what we saw last week in London, where we saw that defense just fold.
Yeah.
Just be able to get run over the entire game. Like, just letting Tank Bigsby run through your throats.
And
now you're going against exactly a much more competent running back in Breece Hall this week, who's going to be able to, I think, have a really effective game on the ground. And yeah, Rodgers doesn't want to keep losing like this. They're going to try to get Devontae more involved. They still have Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, another week in the system.
I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I don't think it's going to be a great football game by any means. But I do think the Jets will win and cover this spread.
Good point, Caden.
Now, the other morning game that we're going to be talking about here is another good divisional matchup. You have the Atlanta Falcons traveling to Tampa Bay to face the Bucs, where the Falcons are a 2.5-point favorite.
Caden, the Bucs are coming off a tough loss, losing their number 1 and their number 2 receivers. They're going to be backs against the wall, and that team's really going to have to come together if they want to compete with the Falcons. That being said, Tampa Bay knows what is at stake with a divisional opponent like the Falcons. They're familiar, and they're going to be going at each other's throats. I am actually leaning more towards Tampa Bay. Odds against them, I think they're going to unite as a team and really rally behind Baker Mayfield and pull together for a victory.
Yeah, let's say you still had Mike Evans. Let's say only one of them got hurt. I'd be right in your corner. I would love the Bucs in this game at this spot. But with both of them out, and now your number 1 receivers, Jalen McMillan and Sterling Shepard, you're going to need a big game out of your running backs of Bucky and Rachaad White. You're going to need Cade Otton to step up.
And it's a very tough defense with the Falcons, by the way.
But you did see what the Falcons did last week against Seattle. They got absolutely smoked by the Seahawks. Just didn't look good. Even with that being said, I do think because of how hampered the Bucs are on offense, and you've seen their defense especially torched just last Monday.
Yeah.
I do think the Falcons should be able to get into this game, get the win, get the cover. And I think Bijan should have another pretty good week because they're starting to feed him a lot more. And it's really helping their offense.
Not a bad idea, kid. Not at all.
Now, though, we get to your team, where this has got to be the largest favorite for them in years. They're at home against the Carolina Panthers, where Bryce Young's returning as the quarterback. And the Broncos are a 10-point favorite.
That line has gotten larger, especially with Bryce Young now starting, kid. With the way this defense has been playing for the Broncos, they get after the quarterback. Pat Surtain back in the lineup.
Yep.
This team's going to be rested off 10 days playing that Thursday night football game. They should destroy the Panthers. They should absolutely run over them, and it should be another dub in the column for the Broncos.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, you saw what the Commanders did last week with Marcus Mariota at quarterback. They won 45-7 against this Panthers offense, just this Panthers team. Now you have Andy Dalton, who sucks that he got in that car accident. Hope he heals well and everything. Now you're reinserting Bryce Young, who hasn't played in weeks, and when he's played, he hasn't looked good. And now he's supposed to come in and try to beat one of the better defenses in the entire league. Supposed to keep up with one of the better defenses in the entire league at altitude who's getting Pat Surtain back. No, I don't see it happening. The Broncos. It should be another game kind of like that Broncos Saints game from last week.
I agree, kid.
Next, though, we got the Sunday night game. We got the Cowboys at the 49ers, where the 49ers are a 4.5-point favorite.
Caden, both these teams are having miserable starts to their season.
Yep.
For proud playoff contenders, as these teams have been the last few years, it's been ugly. And the Cowboys are just getting uglier each week. The turmoil with Jerry Jones.
Oh, yeah.
The stuff within their team. Players are fighting. They're turning on each other. I think the Niners' just stability and consistency within the coaching is enough to get them the victory. And they've had the Cowboys' number over the years. So I'm not going to say much more other than that, even with his beat up and as bad as the Niners have played as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're definitely beat up. Ayuk obviously now for the season. Who knows if Debo's going to play as he's been dealing with an illness that people are saying like pneumonia-like symptoms and stuff. Even with that, though, like their running game is still good with Jordan Mason.
Kyle Shanahan's still
Kyle Shanahan. And they still have a great defense. You still have Fred Warner as your linebacker. You still have Talanoa Hufanga, free safety. Like Nick Bosa. I mean, the Niners are just a much better team. Micah Parsons is still out for the Cowboys. Seems like he's been out, what's that, like four games now, I think? Since that ankle injury, Like, and that's not good for an already not good defense. Yeah, the Niners, even with all the depletion they have on offense, should still be able to come in, get the win, get the cover.
I like it too, Caden, especially, knowing the prime time, knowing what's at stake. I think the Cowboys are just going to crumble again.
I would agree with you on that. Now, though, getting into our Monday night game, where somehow the Steelers get another primetime game. That's okay. But now we got the New York Giants, who are also back on primetime. We got Danny Dimes against Russell Wilson, where the Steelers are a 6-point favorite
the matchup
at home.
No one wants to see at home with the Steelers defense against Danny Dimes. This should be easy victory for the Steelers. Regardless of how Russell Wilson plays, he could play how he did in Denver, and they'll still get this victory.
Yeah.
If he could hand the ball off to Najee and not turn the ball over, they will beat the Giants.
Yes, the Giants are leading the league in sacks or whatever. The Steelers' defense is still a lot better, and they have Daniel Jones at quarterback.
Yes.
You can't expect much with Daniel Jones at quarterback at the helm of your offense. Like, Malik Neighbors is still amazing. Yeah. And that's great for them. But you have Daniel Jones throwing to him, and you have that Steelers D-line, which is great. You have, T.J. Watt coming off the edge, who's going to probably wreak havoc the entire game. Don't know why this is somehow a Monday Night Football game.
It's going to be boring.
Going to be a boring, not great football game.
It's going to be a Steelers football game.
Exactly.
Defense, boring, and you want to click off the channel.
Yeah, nice low score. Maybe like a nice 20-7 victory for the Steelers.
Yeah, I was going to say the Steelers might put up some points, but I know the Giants ain't gonna.
It should be an easy cover for them, but a boring football game for the audiences.
Well, Caden, that's our weekend in a preview. We differed on some games, and of course, we were the same as always. Anything else you'd like to say before we leave the fans?
Just make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on post notifications so you don't miss any of our uploads. We got a lot of stuff going on. And look out, starting next week, we're going to be bringing you a weekly NBA update week throughout the season.
Most definitely. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all next time.